perfect timing on the doorbell. All right, everyone. It's great to see all of you. I'm going to post the song sheet again in the chat just in case it's not popping up there. If you want to follow along with any of the words, those are a bunch of the melodies that we're going to sing together. So we'll kick it off with a melody that I wrote about 2 or 3 years ago at this point with somebody who I think you've seen relatively recently. Her name is Colleen Dieker, and we wrote this melody together, and she's been my musical chavruta, my musical partner for a very long time now. We've been traveling all over the country together, getting to share music and build prayerful communities all over the place, and this piece has been a very intimate part of that. It's called Hame'ira, which means the illuminator, the one who lights up the world. And we'll talk a little bit more about where some of the ideas from the melodies and where the pieces of liturgy come from. But this one is a text that appears right after the Baruch Hu in all of our morning worship services. And it's all about the idea that that whole section is about creation. And the whole idea is that before we can ask for things, before we can pray for things, before we can make requests, we first acknowledge the miraculousness of our own existence, of the fact that we are here on this earth. And so there's this whole section of tefillah that's all about creation. And so this is God who lights up the world and all of its inhabitants with mercy. And uvtuva mechadeshet bechol yom tamid ma'aseh breshit, in God's goodness, every single day, renewing the act of creation. The idea being that there are so many new things for us to discover each day, and that at every single moment, at every single day, we ourselves are new, right? You're composed of different cells than you were composed of last week, and you have all the memories inside of you from yesterday. You can't live today the same way that you lived yesterday. So we become partners with God in this act of creating new things. And so we go back all the way to the very beginning, to the first primal hum. And we'll try and sing out that hum together, and then we'll let the words take us from there. It goes like this. Hum, ha, hum, ha, 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 hum, ha, that's the whole hum part. Try it out with me. Hum, ha, hum, ha, 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 hum, ha, hum, ha, 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 hum, ha, hum, ha, ha, hum, oh, hum, ha, hum, ha, ha, Hame'ira, 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 Hame'ira la'aretz v'ladarim aleha v'rachamim. Hame'ira, 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 Hame'ira la'aretz v'ladarim aleha, v'ladarim aleha, v'ladarim aleha, v'ladarim aleha v'rachamim. Uvtuva mechadeshet bechol yom tamid. Uvtuva mechadeshet ma'aseh bereshit. Hum now, hum now, hum now, now hum. Ha 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 hum ha 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 hum. You got it, just like that. Hum it out. Hum ha 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 hum ha ha hum ha.
Oh, that was wonderful. That's such a great way to get us going. At least I'm energized. So, Rabbi, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you come from, and where are you going?
Well, I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, um, and that's where I came from. I spent a lot of time in a lot of different Jewish institutions. I feel very indebted to the many Jewish institutions that raised me. I was part of a very strong suburban Jewish community. One of my mentors is even here on the call. His name's Rabbi Medwed. Hey, Rabbi. And so I was really involved in my synagogue growing up. I went to the Solomon Schechter Day School in Chicago, and I always really loved music. And I had an amazing music teacher when I was in school. Her name was Roz Epstein, and I loved getting to sing with her and be in the choir, and that music always also led to me into a love of the Hebrew language. We sang so much music in Hebrew, and I have since then always been inspired by the power of the Hebrew language, the beauty of it, the way that the words are connected to each other, the way that the letters have these mystical significances, all these different connections, and that led me to really continue on this Jewish journey. I went to a Jewish high school, and then when I was finished there, I wanted to keep studying, so I went to the Jewish Theological Seminary for undergrad, and I continued to study there and found a lot of opportunities there to make music. And a synagogue in the New Jersey area was looking for a Hebrew school music teacher. And I said, well, I went to Jewish summer camp. I went to Camp Vermont, and I play guitar, so I could probably do that. And I started playing music with the kids. And besides holiday music and Israeli music, the only music that I knew that was Jewish music was Debbie Friedman and Rick Recht and Craig Taubman. And that was my whole repertoire. And I didn't know that there was this whole world of Jewish music out there. So I started writing Jewish music. I thought I wanted to have some more melodies that I could really work on the tefillah with the children, and that sort of led me to this moment where I am today, just crafting a lot of Jewish melodies for worship, and helping to make intentional and prayerful communities all over.
That's beautiful. I think recently I saw, of I guess maybe not so recently since we've been in COVID land for almost 6 months now, but I think it was a Solomon Schechter Day School that was singing Hameira, and it was all the kids were jumping around. There was so much joy in this idea of prayerful song that it was just stupendous. And so I know you've been super involved in publishing, I think 3 albums you've put out so far.
Yeah.
And you've got another one in the works, correct?
That's right. We were supposed to record it at the beginning of April, so we ended up postponing it. But all the songs are ready, and as soon as we can get back together, we'll hopefully have it out in the world.
Oh, it's wonderful, wonderful. So why don't you play a little bit more, and you tell us a little bit about some of the pieces that you've created.
Wonderful. So I thought, for those who are just joining us, I'll share in the chat again. We have a little song sheet if you're trying to follow along with some of the words. And I thought it would be appropriate to sing 1 or 2 of these next couple of songs because today is Tu B'Av, which is like the Jewish Valentine's Day. It's a holiday of love, celebration. We had a day of destruction last week with Tisha B'Av, one of the fast days, one of the darkest days on the Jewish calendar. And the week after that, we already rise up and are filled with light and filled with love. And so I wanted to share this melody for Yedid Nefesh, which will hopefully be on our next album. And Yedid Nefesh is a prayer that I've always been struck by its powerful beauty. It's this prayer that comes right in the beginning of our Friday night service, and it's not technically a part of the Friday night service. We have 6 psalms as part of the Friday night service, followed by Lecha Dodi, this beautiful poem. And these 6 psalms represent each day of the week, leading our way into Shabbat. And they're bookended by these poems on either side. So Yedid Nefesh is this beautiful poem, and it's a very deep, powerful love poem. And on Friday nights, when I'm walking into the sanctuary, I don't always feel like I'm ready to jump into this very deep, very emotive, very physical love poetry. I've had a really long week, and it's been a really long day, and I have a lot on my mind. And so that's what I think the power of Nigun has become. It's how can we find a way to make ourselves emotionally ready, spiritually ready, to say the words the way that they're meant to be said, with the correct emotion. So this melody that we're going to sing starts with this Nigun that sort of swirls around, readying us for this melody, and the melody itself is evoking evoking this sort of deep love poetry. Even if you just look at the second verse, these words, Hadur na'eh ziv ha'olam, O glorious, radiant spark of the universe, nafshi cholat ahavatech, my soul is sick with longing for you. Just like really, really powerful words, and so I wanted to be able to express those words with the emotion that I believe they deserve. So that's where this melody comes from, and it begins like this. If you want to sing this nigun with me, we'll sing it just a few times before we jump into the words. Maybe we'll just do the first verse and the last verse for today. And as we do, before we start, if I know it's only Wednesday, but Wednesday means that we're closer to the next Shabbat than we were to the previous Shabbat. And that means that we're almost ready to start saying Shabbat Shalom. So if there's been things that have been going on this week that we might be able to find a way to let go of, to bring ourselves into that spiritual mood of Shabbat, take this nigun and allow us to let those feelings sort of subside, to bring in that love feeling of Tu B'Av. Ay 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 Hadarach, oh yeah, Ravlo, Yedidu Tach, Minofet Suv, Vechotam, ay 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 Avatach, oh Ana Elna Rifana La Beharot La Noam Zivach, oh Az Titchazek V'Titrapeh V'Haitala Shifchat Olam, ay 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 Higalena, Ufros Chaviv Alai, Et Sukkot Shelomach, Ota'ir Eret Mikevodah v'moed v'choneini ki me'olam. Ay, 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 Thanks for singing that one along with me. So we'll take ourselves all together from the very beginning of Shabbat. We started with Yedid Nefesh. Now we're going to make our way to the very end of Shabbat with another love song. This is it's number 3 on the song sheet if you want to take a look. And this is a song called "Come to Light." I don't often write melodies in English, but every so often I get inspired by a particular prayer or a particular moment on the Jewish calendar, and try to write something out in relation to that, in connection to that, to go along with the prayer, my own sort of prayer prose. And this particular melody is for a love song to Shabbat. It's Havdalah is a moment where we're just sort of holding on to this last bit of Shabbat. I grew up at Camp Vermont, Wisconsin, as I mentioned, and at Camp Vermont, Wisconsin, on Saturday afternoons, it's the most beautiful time in the whole week. At the end of right after dinner, hundreds of campers and staff members go into one of the dining halls and just sit for over an hour and sing these beautiful, haunting melodies just at the end of Shabbat. Just to let Shabbat, that feeling of Shabbat, last for a little bit longer, to keep that energy going, to not just let it be something from Friday night, but to let it really relive itself, bookending itself from the very beginning to the very end with music and prayer. And that moment has always been a really powerful moment for me, and I wanted to be able to hold on to it and think about all these things that we're seeing, that we're feeling, all the senses that are in play with all of our Jewish rituals. Havdalah is one that we really have all of the senses as a part of it. So hopefully in this melody and in these words, you'll notice all those different pieces of our Saturday night ritual. And it just begins also with a nigun, just one letter, just one word. It's just it's just a sigh that we sort of let go as we let go of Shabbat, and it goes like this. Try that with me one more time. Once more, just like that. That's going to come around a whole bunch of times, so hopefully you'll sing along when we get it. When the moonlight hits your eyes and the stars begin to glow, one by one, and the flame that shines below from 1,000 points of light, brighter than the sun. And you can taste it, you can smell it in the air, and you can see it on my fingertips, and you can wish it like a whisper on your lips. Count the stars like 1, 2, 3 and say goodbye. Sing ah, 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 give me the wisdom to behold what's dark from what is light. I believe, and in belief is love. And when I'm I'm in your arms, I'm unafraid. And you can taste it, you can smell it in the air, and you can see it on my fingertips, and you can wish it like a whisper on your lips. Count the stars like 1, 2, 3 and say goodbye. And you can taste it, and you can taste it, you can smell it in the air, you can see it on your fingertips, you can see it on my fingertips. You can wish it, and you can wish it like a whisper on your lips. Count the stars like 1, 2, 3 and say goodbye. Sing ah, 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 oh, one last time, just our voices.
So, Josh, we are 45 days away from Rosh Hashanah. And so this has been such a weird year so far. What are the kinds of things that you're thinking of in terms of preparing your heart, you and your bride, the two of you are preparing yourselves for this coming year of holy days, where you're probably going to be distanced like no other year from the people you love.
Yeah, it's a really strange time, and it's a strange thing to be thinking about, and especially coming into the high holidays. We entered this pandemic period into right into Passover, and I think none of us really had any idea what any of this was going to look like or feel like, or how long it was going to go on for. And we had that holiday that we were so excited to prepare for, and the change was really potent. It was really tangible, and that shift has sort of been with me for a long time, almost this whole period now, that my whole life is traveling to communities all over the country, and getting to share music and get to know different people and build relationships, and it's all about getting to be in one place together and singing, which as of right now is one of the most dangerous things that you can do, is just to be in a room together singing and praying. And that was a really hard thing to realize. And it took a really long time for me for that realization to sink in, and to realize that how can I find other ways to be connected to people? How can I find other ways to be of service? How can I find other ways to pray and to sing when these melodies are so much a part of me? And all of my high holiday memories the melodies are so iconic for me, and they bring me back to these powerful moments in my life, all these different places. Like, you can hear a melody and you know where you were when you first heard that melody, or a transcendent moment when you sang that melody. You got to be a part of that, and I think we're not going to have that in the same way this year. It's going to be really hard to get there. And I've been thinking about this because I've been working with a bunch of different day schools on what it's going to look like to pray and to gather in the fall, and it's hard to think about what changes are necessary, and at the same time it gives us an opportunity to really look at the words and think more deeply about what we're doing, because we're not in the same place. We can't just walk into the sanctuary and pick up the siddur and sit in the spot where we always sit and just by rote know exactly what it is we're doing. We're already in such a different place that everything has to be engaged with anew. So I think it also gives us an opportunity to look at the words in a new way, to open ourselves up to being inspired in a new way, in a way that sometimes when we get to be in those places that we love so much, we just are stuck in the routine of them. And routine is good in a lot of ways, but I've been thinking a lot about how I can look at some of the words and be re-inspired by them in a way that, like, these words, I see them every single year. And every single year I try and find a way to make them meaningful. And sometimes I get there and sometimes I just don't. And the fact that I'm present in that moment is enough. And this time, when I can't be present in that moment, I feel that I need to take a different step and sort of re-engage with the tradition that's sort of been there for me every single year that I might not have taken advantage of were it not for where I am right now.
Yeah, it's this idea of having to shift our lens, and in so doing, we're all being forced to do that. But hopefully, we'll all find beautiful, beautiful aspects that will be revealed to us anew through that
Amen.
shifting. So yeah. Um, so where are you in terms of your musical journey with us tonight? Where do you want to take us next?
Oh goodness, there's so many different directions I want to go in. Are we feeling like we want to hear another English song, or we want to maybe move into the Hebrew? Anyone have any preferences here?
Well, we are a Hebrew-loving congregation.
Okay, so we'll move beyond Jonah. I put Jonah in here because I don't always get to sing Jonah, but now we're in this high holiday season where we could like sing these songs about Jonah. But if you want to hear Jonah, it's available on all streaming platforms, so you can go listen to that one. And why don't we move to number 5, which is a piece that I'm very excited about, and I've been trying to sing a whole lot lately. When I was growing up at our Shabbat table, we always used to sing Shabbat Zmirot, which are these beautiful Shabbat table songs. And there are these iconic melodies for them, just like we were talking about with the high holidays. And most of the Shabbat Zmirot were written around the 14th or 15th century by a bunch of different rabbis and poets. But the melodies, some of them are new, some of them are old, some of them are German drinking songs. Very strange. But I thought recently that maybe we should try and think about what it might look like to have some new Shabbat Zmirot. All of them are on themes related to Shabbat. Shabbat as a wedding, Shabbat as a gathering place, the food that we eat, the rest that we have on Shabbat, all these different Shabbat themes using verses from a lot of our Shabbat liturgy. And I thought, what would it look like to try and write my own Shabbat Zmirot? I'd been writing melodies for all these different prayers, and what might it be like to write my own words in the Hebrew, which is the language that I fell in love with. And Shabbat Zmirot is more uplifting in some ways than just a regular song. I love singing regular songs. In Hebrew, we call a song a shir. But on Shabbat, we call that same song a zemer. And zemer is this powerful, powerful word. If you flip the word zemer around, you get the word remez, which is a hint. And on Shabbat, instead of it just being a shir, it has a hint, this remez, this hint of divinity, of holiness, of connection. And so that's what these Shabbat Zmirot are. And the way that you know who wrote a Shabbat Zemer is they stick their name in the verses, so they tell you who wrote it. Like Yari Bon, which is another popular one, was written by Rav Yisrael Najaro, and there's all these different ones. And so I wrote one with my initials in it, and I was very excited about it, and I sang it all the time. And my then fiance said to me, "When are you going to write one for me?" And I said, "I'm not going to." And then I surprised her for our wedding, and I wrote this Shabbat Zemer with her name in the middle that had a verse from our Ketubah, one of our favorite verses from a Yehuda Halevi poem, right in the middle, this chorus. Darashti kirvatech, I sought your nearness. Bechol libi nichsafti likratech, with all of my heart, I yearned to be close to you. And the poem continues, Uvtseti likratech, when I came out looking for you, mitzati likraticha, I saw you already coming towards me. And I've added in some of these verses. I footnoted it at the bottom, but you can see where all these different verses come from liturgy. You'll notice, Nafshi cholat, my soul is sick with longing for you. Higalana et sod sodech, reveal to me the secret of your secret. These verses that come from our liturgy, verses from Song of Songs. And so I wrote this melody for these words, and I sent it to everybody that was coming to the Friday night dinner at the wedding, and we sang it for her as a surprise at the Shabbat dinner table. And that's become our tradition in place of Eshet Chayil to sing this melody, Darashti Kirvatech, all about Shabbat and love and celebration. So I'll share it with you right now. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Maybe we can bring it to more Shabbat homes. Oneg kara l'Shabbat HaMalka levarech uzamer begila verina hava nashir bekoram uvidmama boi kala darashti kirvatech bechol libi Safti likratech nafshi cholat ahavatech יגלנה את סוד סודך. יין לקידוש, אירוסין בנישואין, על אהבה ואחווה אנחנו מודים. שמח תשמח רעים אהובים, עוד יישמע בירושלים. דרשתי קרבתך בכל ליבי, נחשפתי לקראתך, נפשי חולת אהבתך, יגלנה את סוד סודך. נועם זיווך בקשתי לראות, ובליל החופה בכל המצלות, כל דודי מקבץ על הגבעות, לרקוד גם בימים ובלילות. דרשתי קרבתך בכל ליבי, נחשפתי לקראתך, נפשי חולת אהבתך, יגלנה את סוד סודך. השמיעיני את קולך אהובי, אבקש פנייך כי לך אמר ליבי, מה נעמתו אהבת נפשי, רעייתי יונתי תמתי. דרשתי קרבתך בכל ליבי, נחשפתי לקראתך, נפשי חולת אהבתך, יגלנה את סוד סודך. דרשתי קרבתך בכל ליבי, נחשפתי לקראתך, נפשי חולת אהבתך, יגלנה את סוד סודך, יגלנה את סוד סודך, יגלנה את סוד סודך.
Okay, all of the husbands that are watching right now, you just have set such a high bar for her. That is stunningly beautiful.
Thank you. We made a Shabbat bencher that went along with our that we put out at all the tables at the wedding, and I made the bencher myself. And the only reason that I did that was so I could stick the stick the words in for this song. And now we're trying to we'll spread it all over. One day it'll be 14th century and 21st century Zmirot all together in the same book. All right, this.
I'm just going to invite anybody that wants to ask questions. Feel free to put them in the chat.
Yes, please.
We're going to let Rabbi Josh keep singing a little bit.
So I thought I'd bring it back to the melody that we began with in the very beginning, which is a melody for these words at song number 6, Emet Atahu Rishon. And these words come right after Michamocha. They're buried in the middle of a paragraph. And this gets back to what we were talking about with the high holidays, but a lot of times I find that the most powerful words are just sort of stuck in the middle of a paragraph. We are more than just the people of the book. We have a lot of words. We're the people of the many books. We have lots and lots of books, and there are so many words in our Siddur, and we pick out the ones that are meaningful to us at any given time. And those are the ones that people have written melodies about before, and that's how we remember them. That's how we remember stories. There's actually 2 stories in the Torah, in the Tanakh, of crossing a sea. There's the one where we cross the Red Sea, that's the famous story, and then there's another one where Joshua and all the people cross the Jordan River. But the story that we remember more often is the one of the Red Sea, and that's because they sang a song there. Az Yashir Moshe, they sang this beautiful melody, and there wasn't a song when they crossed the other time, and so we forget about it. Right? That's how all these folk tales, all these legends begin and end. They begin and end in song. And so these words one day called out to me in a way that they never had before. I learned these words when I was a very young, I was an adolescent or a teen, and there's this really fun, catchy, upbeat melody for these words. Emet, 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 emet atahu rishon. Very fun, and I would always sing that melody. And then suddenly it struck me that these words and that melody do not fit together at all, in my opinion. These words are all about truth, emet, this ultimate truth. And again, with these powerful words, emet is this amazing, amazing word. It begins at the very beginning of the Hebrew alphabet with aleph. It goes all the way through to taf, the very end of the Hebrew alphabet, with mem right there in the middle, all encompassing this word, truth being all encompassing. And emet also is the entire life cycle of a human being, from from the womb, from the mother, from ima, to met, to death. Right? Our entire life cycle all encompassed within truth. So what does it mean for us to live up to truth, for us to hold on to truth? And the idea, I think, these words originally are talking about God as this ultimate truth. Emet atahu rishon. In truth, you are first. In truth, you are last. Without you, there is nothing. But also, there's a way to think of this as being about you. If you read the words a little bit differently, Emet atahu rishon. In truth, you are first. Emet atahu acharon. In truth, you are last. There are times when you have to take care of your own needs, when you have to put your truth first. But more often than not, emet atahu acharon. You have to hold yourself back. You have to make sure that people whose truths can't shine forth without your help, that other people's truths can come into the spotlight. That it's not just about yourself, that you can help other people, help truth live on, spotlighting someone else instead of just you. And so we sing this melody, it's about this truth that sort of moves on and holding on to this idea of bringing other people forward. So when I get to sing this with communities, I like to try and find moments when we can sing out as loud as you can. Once you get this melody, sing it out loud, and find a moment where your voice can be the strongest voice. And then take a moment where you quiet down and you just find a time to listen and allow your voice to be pulled back, to let somebody else's voice be in the front. For me, this is going to be harder because I could only hear my voice at this moment. But if you're trying to sing along, let there be a moment when your voice is louder, when your voice is stronger, when you can hear the power in your own voice. And then let the melody take the truth beyond just you to somewhere else as well. Start just with the word emet. Thanks, everyone. I didn't see. Do we have any questions in the box? No, we're okay for now. All right. I have a few more melodies that I wanted to share with all of you, and I thought maybe we'll move on to number 8, which is a melody for one of my all-time favorite prayers, which is a prayer called Asher Yatzar. Asher Yatzar is the prayer that Jews say after we go to the bathroom. You too, Rabbi? It's this really, really powerful, amazing prayer. Asher Yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah, who created human beings with wisdom. And the idea behind this prayer is that it's all about awareness. I talk to kids all the time that Judaism is all about awareness. It's about noticing the things that happen in the world and marking them in time by saying a bracha. When you see a rainbow, we say a bracha. When you meet a new person, we say a bracha. When we light candles, we mark time. Judaism is about marking time. It's living our lives not just as zombies, but walking through the world with intention. And that's what Asher Yatzar is all about. It's about noticing the small miracles that are happening within our own bodies every single day. There is a lot that has to happen in order for us to go to the bathroom successfully. And so the right things have to open, the right things have to close at the right times. And so we sing this prayer, Asher Yatzar. The blessing at the end of it is, Rofek kol basar umafli la'asot, healer of flesh and doer of wonders. And this idea that the fact that our body can do these things is miraculous, is wonderful. And the rabbis talk about the other miraculous thing being that usually if something has a lot of holes in it, it can't hold anything, right? Think of a sieve. And when you pour water into it, all of the holes, the water flows out. But human beings who have lots and lots of holes all over our bodies, all over the place, you wouldn't think that we'd be able to contain anything. And yet, each one of us has a soul contained and thriving within us at all times. And the fact that we can be holding all of this within us, and even though we have all these holes, is a miraculous, miraculous thing. That was the miracle for the rabbis. Our soul was a miraculous, miraculous thing. So, I had heard a whole bunch of melodies for this prayer. Debbie Friedman has a really beautiful one. Dan Nichols is like one of my favorite melodies of his, which is all about wonder and just saying wow, saying whoa. And I wanted a melody where I could remember all the words because it's hard for me to remember this many words, but I wanted to be able to say it after I went to the bathroom. So I wrote a melody that had all the words in it also. And you'll see on the left, I tried my hand at some prose poetry, just some wonder that I was noticing in the world around me. How can I find that wonder and look out and express it and pray it into the world? So it goes like this. Today for me is a new day on earth. I live it in awe and wonder how everything works. Should the grass cease to grow? Should the sun cease to glow? Should my heart cease to beat? I thank you again and again that my body's complete. I can think, I can breathe, I can hope, I can sneeze, I can laugh, I can cry, I can pray for the wonder each day. For strength come what may, for the power to say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah Uvarabo nekavim nekavim, chalulim chalulim, galui ve'adua, lifnei chisek yevodecha, sheim yipateach echad mehem, o yisatem echad mehem, yefshar להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך, לפניך, לפניך. Baruch atah Adonai, rofek kol basar, mafli lasod, for the wonder each day, for strength come what for the power to save. Today for me is a new day on earth. I live it in awe and wonder.
That was really lovely. Thank you for that. So we have a couple of, quite a few musicians that are with us tonight. So
Right.
remiss if I didn't ask you, other than the Jewish singers, who were the musical influences that that you've had over your lifetime?
So a couple of them are the amazing Jewish musicians that some of whom we mentioned already. They've always been an inspiration to me. I grew up with a lot of late 90s and early 2000s, like acoustic folk music, Nickel Creek, and Death Cab for Cutie and those kind of bands. And then at the same time, I also had a lot of my father's music, a lot of classic rock, some Bob Dylan, just a lot of those folk idols and inspirations, some Joni Mitchell, that sort of influenced a little bit of the kind of songwriting that I do.
Nice, thanks. Where do you want to take us next?
So I think I found a nice place for us to close. And first of all, I wanted to just say thank you again. It's been really wonderful to get to share this evening with all of you, and appreciate you signing on. And Rabbi, thank you for inviting me to come and sing with all of you. I love getting to sing and share, and it's so difficult to be so far, but it's nice to get to have these holy moments in their own right. When we can't create holy space, at least we can find a way to create holy time. So I'm very appreciative of that and very grateful of that. So this last piece that I wanted to share is number 9 on the song sheet. It's a melody called Va'ani Ashir Uzecha, which means I will sing out your strength. It comes from Psalm 59, which is a psalm that's not a part of any liturgy yet. We sing maybe around 40 of the 150 psalms throughout our Jewish calendar year. We sing some in our morning tefillah, we sing some on holidays, but there's another 110 that we never really touch. And this one at one point suddenly inspired me. I was looking for psalms that had to do with the word oz, like we sang before from Havdalah. We have ozi v'zimrat yah, that's this beautiful melody. And so I wanted another psalm that had to do with strength, and I found this one, Va'ani ashir uzecha, and I will sing your strength. Va'aranen laboker chastecha, and exalt to the morning your faithfulness. Ki hayita miskavli, you've been a haven for me. Umanos beyom tsarli, and a help for me in my time of distress. And these words have stuck with me for a very long time, and this melody actually sort of led to all of these other new melodies that I've been writing. The last album that I wrote that had Come to Light on it and some other melodies was sort of like a Jewish rock album, and then as soon as I wrote this melody, Va'ani Asher Uzecha, all the melodies sort of came out after that. They flowed. They were much more spiritual. They were much more all-encompassing and meant to be sung with all these beautiful harmonies, and they all came from this singing your strength. And I recently learned from a dear friend of mine that in 1897, there was a plague in the city of Bombay, and the Jewish community of Bombay reached out to the Ben Ish Chai, who was the chief rabbi of Baghdad at the time, and they asked him, would you please write for us a siddur of prayers for us to say during this plague? And so he wrote them a siddur. And if you're looking at our song sheet, there's two pictures here on the page, are pictures from the siddur. The top one is from the inside cover. It says, Tikkun la Magefa. Here is a fixing for the plague. Le'omro bechol yom bazman ha-magefa be'ir Bombay. To be said every single day during the time of this plague in the city of Bombay. And right in the middle of the siddur, this next page is the centerfold of the siddur. Right in the middle, it says, Va'ani Asher Uzecha. This prayer, Psalm 59, that's been a haven for people, for Jews, for hundreds of years. We've used these psalms to help center us, to help us find ourselves, to help us find comfort. And this one in particular is about finding our strength through singing out together. In the beginning, we sing, Va'ani Asher Uzecha, and I will sing your strength. But by the end, we sing these last words, the chorus, the mantra, over and over again, Uzi. Elecha azamara, my strength, I will sing out to you. That through singing together, through gathering, through finding community, we're able to find the strength and power in our own voice as well. So we'll sing out these words, Va'ani Asher Uzecha, and I'm hopeful that by the time we get to the mantra, those last three words at the end, Uzi, Elecha azamara, you'll call them out with me. We'll let this guide us into this new high holiday season, these 45 days. Let this melody be with us to help us find strength, find comfort, and find community. Va'ani Asher Uzecha Va'aranei lavoker chastecha Ki hayita miskavli umanos beyom tsarli Va'ani Asher Uzecha Va'aranei lavoker chastecha Ki hayita miskavli umanos beyom tsarli Uzi elecha azamera azamera Uzi elecha azamera azamera Uzi elecha azamera azamera Uzi elecha azamera azamera Va'ani Asher Uzecha Va'aranei lavoker chastecha Ki hayita miskavli umanos beyom tsarli Uzi elecha azamera azamera Uzi elecha azamera azamera Uzi elecha
Josh, that was so wonderful. Thank you so much for spending this evening with us. It was such a treat to get to know you and to experience a taste of the incredible music that you are putting out into the world. So we are truly grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So we wish you, all of our community wishes you and your wife um, all good things in your new home. And may the coming holiday be filled with joy and goodness and renewal and everything which your heart desires.
Amen. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for sharing your music. I'm continually inspired for the high holidays.
Thank you all for being here tonight. Stay tuned for the next in our summer series in 2 weeks from now, and all of the amazing things that we have coming up for the month of Elul. So please check your mailboxes, make sure you're finding all of our TBT emails, and follow along with us as we continue on our journey forward in time. So good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Yeah, Josh, I purchased your Hamerah, and I'm trying to get it down to so 4 people can sing it. But I'll be excited. I think when the congregation hears it, they're going to love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that. I'm so excited that you're going to be singing that.
Yeah, we are too. And I'll have to hear your Jonah song. Maybe it's something we can use on Yom Kippur Mincha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
All
like
right.
it's a nice take on the story. Thank you so much again. This was so wonderful.
Oh, this was wonderful for the congregation, but personally, oh, thank you so much. I really needed this.
Yeah, me too. All right.
Good
Have a
night.
wonderful evening. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.